Imagine this. You're lounging in your favorite chair with a cup of coffee, staring at your bank account, wondering why the numbers seem allergic to growing. Suddenly, you get a knock at the door. It's not the pizza delivery you were hoping for, but instead a 1930s man in a dapper suit holding a weathered briefcase. He smiles confidently and says, "Would you like to learn how to think your way to wealth?" You blink, glance at your bank app again, and think, "Why not? I've got nothing to lose." That man is Napoleon Hill, and the book he's offering is Think and Grow Rich. Let's be clear, this isn't some abracadabra, here's a pile of cash kind of magic. Hill doesn't claim you'll wake up one morning to find gold bricks on your doorstep. What he does promise, though, is that your mind holds the secret to unlocking unimaginable success, provided you know how to use it. And here's the kicker. Think and Grow Rich was published back in 1937, yet its principles are still shaking up the world today. But before we dive into the top takeaways, let's start with a little story, one that might surprise you. The story of Edwin C. Barnes, the guy who thought his way to wealth. You know those people who seem to just will their way to success? Well, Edwin C. Barnes was one of those people. He didn't have any money, connections, or fancy education, but what he did have was a burning desire to work with one of the biggest names in the world, Thomas Edison. Yep, that Thomas Edison. Barnes wasn't just dreaming about working for Edison. He was obsessed with the idea. One day, Barnes showed up at Edison's office, looking more like a hobo than a businessman, and declared he wanted to work for him. You'd think Edison would have laughed in his face, right? Surprisingly, Edison saw something in him, some spark of determination, and gave Barnes a menial job. Fast forward a few years, and Barnes became Edison's business partner, making more money than he could have ever dreamed of. All because he thought himself into that role. 1. Desire, the starting point of all achievement. Napoleon Hill doesn't mince words. Desire is the starting point of all riches. No, this isn't just about wanting a new car or dreaming of a fancy vacation. Hill is talking about burning, obsessive desire. The kind of desire that keeps you awake at night, gnawing at your mind until you finally do something about it. That's what Hill is talking about here. Desire so intense it drives you to action, no matter what. Take Edwin C. Barnes again. He didn't just sit around wishing he could work with Edison. His desire was so strong that it made him get on a train, despite not even having the fare, and show up unannounced at Edison's office, ready to work. Here's the kicker. Desire alone won't make you rich, but it's the fuel that keeps the engine running. Hill emphasizes that you need a definite desire, something crystal clear. Not just, "I want to make money." The more specific your desire, the more powerful it becomes. Hill even suggests writing your goal down and repeating it to yourself every day, preferably in front of a mirror. Yes, you might feel a little weird talking to yourself, but trust the process. After all, nothing worth achieving ever came from staying in your comfort zone. Think of desire as your personal GPS system. If you don't know where you're going, the GPS can't guide you. But when you set a specific destination, it calculates the best route, even if it involves a few wrong turns and detours. Just keep your foot on the gas, and eventually you'll get there. 2. Faith, the magic elixir of belief. Hill argues that you can't just want success. You've got to believe that it's already yours. Faith, according to Hill, is the magic ingredient that turns thoughts into reality. And no, he's not talking about faith in a religious sense. He's talking about unwavering belief in yourself, in your dreams, and in your ability to achieve them. You know how athletes always talk about visualizing the win? They don't just hope they'll win. They see it, they feel it, and they believe it long before they step onto the field. That's faith in action. Faith is the ultimate confidence booster, and Hill insists that it's essential for achieving success. But here's where it gets interesting. Hill suggests you can actually train your brain to have faith through something called autosuggestion. Basically, it's the idea that if you tell yourself something often enough, you'll start to believe it. And once you believe it, it starts to manifest in your reality. Let's say you're a chronic overthinker who second-guesses every decision. We've all been there. Hill's advice is to start talking to yourself in a more positive, empowering way. Tell yourself, "I am successful," even if your current bank balance says otherwise. Over time, That belief will take root, and you'll start acting in ways that align with that belief. Faith is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. 3. Autosuggestion. Your brain is a sponge. Okay, here's where things get fun. Autosuggestion is the practice of influencing your subconscious mind by feeding it positive, intentional thoughts. Hill likens your subconscious to a sponge. It absorbs whatever you give it, whether that's "I'm broke and life is hard," or "I'm on the path to becoming fabulously wealthy." The idea is simple. What you tell your brain regularly will eventually shape your reality. It's like that old saying, fake it till you make it. Here's the practical part. He'll suggest writing down your specific goal. Remember, it's got to be a burning desire, and reading it out loud to yourself every day, preferably multiple times a day. The more you repeat it, the more your brain starts to believe it. And once your subconscious mind believes something, it goes to work behind the scenes to make it happen. But here's the catch. Autosuggestion works both ways. If you keep feeding your brain negative thoughts like "I'll never get out of debt" or "I'm just not cut out for success," guess what? Your brain will believe that too. So, if you want to start thinking and growing rich, you've got to be mindful of what you're telling yourself. 4. Specialized knowledge. Know something worth knowing. You've probably heard the saying, knowledge is power. Well, Napoleon Hill has a slight tweak to that. Specialized knowledge is power. In other words, it's not enough to know a little about a lot of things. You need to know a lot about one specific thing if you want to get ahead. Hill makes it clear that general knowledge is pretty much useless if you don't know how to apply it. It's the difference between being a trivia master at your local pub and being a successful entrepreneur. Sure, knowing random facts might make you fun at parties, but it won't make you rich. If you want to create wealth, you need to focus on developing specialized knowledge, something that people need and will pay for. Think of general knowledge as a Swiss Army knife. It's handy, sure, but if you really need to cut down a tree, you'd be much better off with a chainsaw. Having a broad range of skills might make you feel prepared for anything, but when it comes to getting rich, it's the specialists who get paid the big bucks. 5. Persistence, the real secret sauce. The road to riches isn't easy, and it definitely isn't fast. One of the most important factors in success is persistence. You can have the biggest, brightest dreams in the world, but if you give up the first time you hit a roadblock, well, those dreams aren't going to amount to much, are they? Hill describes persistence as a state of mind, an unrelenting determination to keep going, no matter what obstacles appear in your path. And trust me, obstacles will appear. Whether it's financial struggles, criticism from others, or self-doubt creeping in, you've got to have the grit to keep pushing forward. Hill tells us that persistence isn't something you're born with. It's a skill you can develop. And the best part? Every failure, every rejection, and every setback is an opportunity to build that persistence muscle. It's like going to the gym. The more resistance you face, the stronger you become. Take any successful person you admire, and I guarantee they didn't get to where they are without facing some serious challenges. Oprah didn't become Oprah without fighting her way through a ton of obstacles. Elon Musk didn't build Tesla by giving up when things got hard. They all persisted, and that's the secret sauce that separates the winners from the quitters. The power of the mastermind group. Okay, we've covered desire, faith, autosuggestion, specialized knowledge, and persistence, but there's one more key takeaway we can't overlook: the concept of the mastermind. Hill was ahead of his time on this one, and it's just as relevant today, especially in the age of networking. A mastermind group is essentially a group of like-minded individuals who come together to help each other achieve their goals. It's like your own personal Avengers squad, but instead of saving the world, you're saving your dreams from failure. By surrounding yourself with other motivated people, you tap into collective knowledge, inspiration, and accountability. And let's face it, trying to get rich on your own is tough. Sometimes you need a team to cheer you on, offer advice, and pick you up when you stumble. He'll believe that no one achieves great success alone. He cites examples like Henry Ford and Andrew Carnegie, both of whom had their own mastermind groups, people they trusted to help them stay focused, motivated, and innovative. So if you're serious about achieving wealth and success, it's time to start forming your own circle of influence. After all, there's strength in numbers. How Think and Grow Rich still resonates today. You might be thinking, okay, this all sounds great, but Think and Grow Rich was written back in the 1930s. How can it possibly still apply in today's world of TikTok, cryptocurrency, and tech startups? Well, that's the beauty of Napoleon Hill's principles. They're timeless. While the specifics of how we earn money may have changed, no more knocking on doors with briefcases, the underlying psychology of success remains the same. People are still driven by desire. Faith still plays a critical role in shaping our beliefs. And persistence is more important than ever in a world full of distractions and quick fixes. Whether you want to build a business, climb the corporate ladder, or find financial freedom, Hill's blueprint still holds up today. In fact, many of today's most successful entrepreneurs and thought leaders credit Think and Grow Rich as one of the most influential books in their lives. Conclusion: what Think and Grow Rich really teaches us. At its core, Think and Grow Rich isn't just about money, it's about mindset. It's about how the way we think, believe, and act can either propel us to success or keep us stuck in mediocrity. Hill's principles may seem simple, but don't underestimate their power. Remember, it all starts with desire, that burning, obsessive dream that won't let you sleep at night. From there, you build faith, cultivate persistence, and seek out specialized knowledge. You use autosuggestion to reinforce your belief and surround yourself with a mastermind group that keeps you on track. When you put it all together, you've got a recipe not just for financial success, but for living a life of purpose and achievement.